Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the PreStream podcast. I'm Darkside Phil, and today is Sunday, the 26th of June, 2022. How is everyone today? I hope I find you well. Welcome back to Mobius. That is right. I specifically selected this PreStream podcast background because today we return to the Sonic Origins collection. After having taken a few days away here, well, a couple days away to play the Capcom Fighting Collection, but now we're back. And I know you guys really liked when I played Sonic a couple days ago. Attendance was actually quite good. People were very supportive and really enjoyed the stream. And I think a lot of people like the classic Sonic games, and to have it in a collection like this with new added features and things is kind of neat, right? Especially the full screen 16:9 aspect ratio for classic Sonic is kind of nice, right? So, how are you all doing? I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're having a good weekend. And if you've been enjoying all my stuff this weekend, great. I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for watching and supporting in any way. I know a lot of people didn't. And what I mean by that is fighting games. They are very, how can I say? They divide my audience. There's a group of my audience, my viewer base, who over the years used to watch me play fighting games way back in the day. When I actually first started on YouTube, one of the staple things that I would do is I would play Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. At one point, and many of you may remember this and maybe many of you don't, I actually had a fighting game specific channel on YouTube called DSP Street Fighter, where I would upload all of my fighting game footage because I played fighting games so often that they were permeating into my other content. And people who wanted to watch me do like real game playthroughs of narrative-based games were upset that there were so many fighting game footage videos coming out that would flood the channel of DSPGaming. So I purposely had that separate channel to separate that content. Oh, by the way, back then YouTube was a very different place. Back then, you couldn't upload hour-long videos. So when I did fighting games, I would literally upload match by match. So imagine a day like yesterday where I did 5 hours of multiplayer gameplay of the Capcom Fighting Collection, and each individual match was a video. Yesterday would have probably been, no exaggeration, if you think about it, if I'm doing, ranked matches, in an hour, maybe I played 10 people. So you're talking 10 videos an hour. Oh, by the way, and if I broke that up even into more individual segments, it probably would be like 20 to 30 videos an hour. So can you imagine if in one day I uploaded 100 fighting game matches to this channel, how people would react, right? So yeah, that's why I separated my channels back in the day, and I had DSP Street Fighter just for fighting games, DSPGaming for all other style of games, okay? And I was a very heavy fighting game player at the time when Street Fighter 4 came out. Oh my god. Every character I would do a Madness series. Oh, Guile Madness, Ryu Madness, Dan Madness, Hakan Madness, Zangief Madness. Going online and just playing with that character for a couple of hours. People loved it, you know? And by the way, I love doing that kind of content. I absolutely do. So, the last 2 days, all I did was play the Capcom Fighting Collection. I loved it. Personally, I had a great time. I felt like I was back in arcades playing these games. I actually learned a lot about Vampire Savior that I never knew before because I never played the game at a competitive level. It was my first time ever doing that, and it kind of opened my eyes as to what the game is competitively. Oh my god, the rushdown tactics are ridiculous. I was like, wow, I never seen people do this kind of stuff in the game, and it blew me away, okay? At the very same time that I say that, arguably for like the last decade, I have been more of a variety streamer than a fighting game streamer. You know, the days when I was heavily playing fighting games were like 2008 to like 2012. And then I started to back away from the competitive nature of fighting games and play a wider array of games, which is great. I definitely appealed to a wide audience by doing that. But what ended up happening was a lot of my audience don't care about fighting games, okay? So that being said, because they didn't care, you know, whenever I play one, like, yeah, all right, I'll be back when Phil's back to his variety style content. And I feel that's what happened in the last couple of days. Not to say that views weren't good on the streams. They absolutely were. But I'm aware that when I turn a fighting game on like that, that it's going to isolate my audience. And if a couple people, or I say if a couple people, probably a couple hundred, if not a couple thousand people who would normally watch my content are like, meh, I'll be back on Sunday. So, if that is the case for you, welcome back. Sorry that the past couple of days I was pretty much in hardcore fighting game mode. But I am back today, okay? So, let's talk. Let's talk about how stuff went. Let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week because I am back to the variety content now. And we are definitely pushing forward with Retro Mania this week. Retro Mania is in full effect, man. Everything right now is retro. It's pretty fun, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm really having a great time with this Retro Mania style stuff that we're doing. Because there's nothing else out. There's no new games out right now. Like, this is a few weeks of just retro content because that's all that's being released. And I am always down for retro stuff. At the same time, again, there will be people who are turned off and be like, man, I'll come back when Phil's actually playing a hot new release. Well, guess what? There's no new releases till the middle of July. So that's why we're kind of doing what we're doing right now, okay? Now, we will begin shortly to start working on other things. For example, the Viewer's Choice playthrough, a React Marathon event, and Ask the King. So we got 3 variety things coming up that are not retro gameplay. And we'll work on those shortly. In fact, I'll talk about that in a little bit because I think maybe today I might have some time to actually finally sit down and look at your nominations. Games you've nominated the entire month of June for Viewer's Choice. I should maybe be able to sit down and start tallying those up and formulate a poll by which we can figure out what is the winner or what were the most nominated games to get into the final poll so that we can start voting on a Viewer's Choice event. Okay? All right. But before we get to that, let me give you my thoughts on the Capcom Fighting Collection, now having played it for 2 days. Okay, I've played it one whole day. I played it on the Xbox. And then one whole day, I played it on the PlayStation. Okay? First of all, did I notice any differences performance-wise? Did I notice any differences with the online play between the consoles or anything like that? Quite frankly, no. First of all, the games run absolutely beautifully offline. Any of them. I didn't notice any significant issues with the gameplay. For example, in the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, when you're playing certain games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, on certain stages it runs completely at the wrong speed because they basically cheaped out and used cheap emulators. And emulators have always had a problem playing old school Street Fighter games where it'll run the wrong speed. They didn't bother to fix it because they were lazy. In this collection, all the games appear to be running correctly. The correct speeds, the aspect ratio, you could change it as much as you want. It has nice filters and everything you can use. But basically, it looks arcade accurate to me, okay? Which is a good thing. You want it to be, accurate to what you're trying to play, and it looks like they did a good job with that. Controls, man, the controls are better, way better than the 30th Anniversary Collection. If you remember, when I was playing the 30th Anniversary Collection, I had issues doing certain moves. For example, I couldn't do Dragon Punch style moves facing left on the Xbox version. It was just some kind of a weird bug in the game. My moves come out in this collection, in fact, way more than when I played the previous game. I'm getting all the most difficult moves fairly regularly. So I was very pleased with the way that the moves were coming out. They're very responsive controls, okay? One issue that I did notice, and it really is the only real issue that I noticed with the coding of the game, the Xbox version has a weird bug. They mapped the buttons wrong. And what I mean by that is, when you go to map your buttons for the games, they swapped right bumper and left bumper. Yeah, they swapped right and left bumper, I think. And so when you're mapping your buttons, you'll say, I want this to be right bumper, but it's not. It's really left bumper. And vice versa. If you map something to left bumper, it's really right bumper. I don't know how they screwed that up. That's elementary, is that you get your button mapping screen right. The weirdest thing is, it's not like that on PlayStation. So it's an Xbox exclusive bug. Figure that one out, okay? I mean, you can fix it once you figure it out, but it's still very frustrating. And the thing is, by default, what ends up happening is the button that's supposed to be your heavy punch ends up being an auto special move. How many people who are new to fighting these fighting games, never played them before, don't know that that's wrong, and so they bought it on Xbox, and they're just doing auto special moves thinking that's heavy punch. Anyway, Outside of that, collection's flawless. Beautiful artwork on the side of the screen, and you have all these different artworks you can select for each game, which I really liked. And you go online, and you got fully fledged, fully featured online play, casual matches where you can select any of the 10 games and try to find people to play casually. With one button inputs enabled, if you want to play one button special moves, it has that. And then ranked play, where they've disabled the one button special moves, which I'm not surprised because that would kind of be unfair if people were trying to use that online. And again, all 10 games able to be played ranked with a ranking system with points. You know, I'm not going to sit here and criticize their ranking system. I don't think the ranking systems on fighting games have ever made sense. How is it that you go online and you play someone, and if you lose to them, you lose like 100 ranking points, but if you beat them, you get like 10? The game is new. So if you played it for an hour, of course you're going to have more points than the person that just started playing. Why is it that they earn insane points by beating you, but you earn none for beating them when you just kind of just started playing in the last day? It doesn't make sense. The same thing, someone had like platinum diamond ranking in Vampire Savior within a day, and then I couldn't win any points. So it was just so weird. I never understood it. I still don't. At this point, I don't care. Like, there was a time with games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix and Street Fighter 4, I cared about my online rank and I wanted to keep my rank points up. I don't give two shits anymore. Those systems mean absolutely nothing. They're not representative of skill level. Whatever. I really don't care. But it's there. So those who care about ranks, there's a ranking system if you play ranked matches, okay? And then the lobby system. It's nice that it's in there and it works. So not only can you set up a lobby, but you can set it to private. You can set up a password so that you can invite people, okay? And it's good that they have that and that you can control your lobbies, which you couldn't do in the 38th Anniversary Collection inexplicably, okay? But there is one major criticism for this collection that sadly I have to say right now is something that's holding it back. There's just not enough players, okay? When I tried to play it on Xbox on Friday night, I couldn't even find enough players to play for an hour. I was searching and searching and searching. Then I would go to the lobby system, and people all had lobbies open, but it was only one person. You would join the lobby, play them, no one would join. So you're like, I don't play the same person all night. So you'd quit the lobby, you go back to ranked or casual, trying to find a match. If you're lucky, if you could find one, and then you go back to the lobbies again. It was shitty. Like, there wasn't enough players. I ended up playing the same guy like 4 times in a row because there was no one else playing. So then I swapped to PlayStation 5, or PlayStation version, I should say, because it really is PS4, and it was better. There's definitely a lot more players playing on PlayStation, probably like double the amount that are playing on Xbox on PlayStation. But definitely one thing that I noticed that was very different was no one was using open lobbies. Everyone who was playing was either doing casual matches or ranked, or did a private lobby to invite probably their friends or group of players who they trusted. No one had an open public lobby at all on PlayStation. It was all locked lobbies. So, unlike the 30th Anniversary Collection, where for a very long time there I was sitting in a lobby system playing people, with this game it's going to be mostly casual or ranked matches. Maybe what will happen over time is people will open lobbies and start using that system. Right now they're not. But I feel like since the lobby system works, it may have a better situation for long-term gameplay. Right now, the collection's new. It's $40. That's expensive for a bunch of old arcade games in the 1990s, you know? Especially because most of these games, like, for example, Red Earth, Cyberbots, Gem Fighter Minimix, they're not competitive games. They never were played as such, and they're not going to be played as such now. So, when you're talking about a collection, you're charging $40 for offline gameplay, and then basically Vampire Savior and Hyper Street Fighter 2 online. That's kind of pricey, okay? I think what will end up happening is a couple things. Number one, the price will drop, and when this collection maybe hits $20, you're going to have double the amount of people playing it. Number two, it might hit a service like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus Premium, and when it does, then you're going to have an increased player base as well. But I think selling it at $40 at launch with really no major incentives, you know what I mean? Like, what's the incentive? $40 right now to play it. I don't think there is one. So I think that's what's holding it back. At least for now, there is a player base, and I'm going to play this, you know, at least once a week on Friday nights, if not a little more often, for the first couple weeks that it's out. I'm hoping we can consistently get matches. What I'm hoping is that people don't stop playing it, but hopefully more people will actually see. The netcode is good. The netcode is really good. Out of all the people that I played in the past 2 days, probably 2 bad connections. One of them was a guy who was literally lag abusing. You could tell he was actually fucking with his internet connection to make it bad so he could get away with cheesing the game and get ranking points. It was ridiculous. I'm like, dude, it's 2022. This is a new collection that just came out of retro games from the 90s. Nobody cares about rankings in this game, and there's a guy purposely fucking cheating in this game to get ranking points. It's just like, can you be more of a fucking loser in life? Want to talk about having skewed priorities? Wow. I actually fucked with my internet connection to make it laggy so I could get away with cheating in the Capcom Fighting Collection. Yikes. Adrenaline Dragon, the controls are identical. He says, do you prefer the control on Xbox or PlayStation? They're the same. They were both good. Both of them were fine. I didn't have a complaint on either one. I was getting most of my moves. I mean, there's a few situations where I'm not, but mostly that's because of the online play. You know, I'm getting most of my moves, way more accurate than the 30th Anniversary Collection. Wasn't really dropping inputs that often, except for that cheater. The one cheater. Dude, you want to talk about dropped inputs? I threw a Sonic Boom at the guy. It hit him. I did jumping kick, no kick. I landed and pressed kick 3 more times, no kick. It's like, whoa, wow. So you dropped 4 inputs in a row because this guy's cheating. But anyway, it was a good time. I had a good 2 days playing, and now what's going to happen is I am going to keep playing the collection, not as much. Maybe I'll play it a couple times a week. Now, I know people want me to play some of the games offline. For example, Red Earth and Cyberbots are 2 games I've never played before ever. They're games that you understand because they're referenced in other fighting games. For example, Red Earth characters have been in games such as Capcom Fighting Jam, and one of the main characters of Cyberbots is a character in Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. So, I know of the games, I've just never played them before. I'm sure some people want to see that, okay? At the same time, I want to play more online. Like, that's where it's at, is playing the game online competitively. That's where it's fun. And I'm learning. I've actually been learning a lot about Vampire Savior. And Hyper Street Fighter 2 is very fun. And I've barely scratched the surface of what that game is because there's so many different versions of characters available in the game. It's really fun to play the different versions and everything. So, excuse me. I actually can't wait to play more of it, all right? But what will I be playing and when? That's to be determined. We're going to talk about that, all right? All right, so Capcom Fighting Collection. I recommend it. Online play is quite good. Has a working lobby system. Good variety of games. Controls are good. I really don't have any complaints about it, except I wish more people had bought it, because there's definitely less people playing this collection than, say, the 30th Anniversary Collection. When that came out, there was droves of people playing it at launch. This has way less, and that's disappointing, because this is a collection that I want to make a staple part of my weekly content, but I need people to be playing the game, or else I'm playing myself, right? Like, hopefully, there will be enough people to support playing this at least once a week, if not more. I'd like to play it maybe 2 times a week, all right? We'll see. Okay. Excellent. Good stuff, okay? That's my thoughts on the collection. So let's get to the schedule now, because now we're getting back to variety-style content. So not going to be this collection nonstop. So today, we return back to Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, we're returning back to Mobius to fight the evil Dr. Robotnik. We are in Sonic CD right now, and we've gotten a good chunk into it. I'm not actually sure how much is left in Sonic CD, but we only have one more time gem left to get, and if we get the time gem, then I think we get the best ending, because I think there's 7 time gems, and you get the best ending if you've collected them all. So I'm excited for that. I want to see how it ends, because I don't remember, okay? Then we're starting up Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, Sonic 2 is my favorite of all time. Why? Because when I bought my Genesis in the 90s, it came with Sonic 1 and 2 bundled with it, and Sonic 2 was just so fun. All right? It was full of great graphics, amazing music, stages that were complex with different ways to go about doing things in said stages. I like the fact that Tails was part of the game, even though admittedly Tails doesn't help that much. He's kind of an idiot, kills himself a lot. It was nice to kind of have a companion with you along for the ride. To me, Sonic 2 is the best one of the classic Sonics, okay? Other people disagree, and that's fine, but that's my personal fave. So I'm very excited to be starting up Sonic the Hedgehog 2 today. I don't know what they've changed about it. I don't know, I don't know what improvements it'll have, but I'm very excited. Oh, by the way, when I was playing this on Thursday, okay, I was enjoying it, but there was just something I couldn't put my finger on. I had my headphones plugged into the wrong thing. When I'm playing games on PlayStation, I plug my headphones into this receiver. This is the old Astro receiver that I used to use when I used my Astro A40 headphones. For many, many years, I used those. And this is what was decoding surround sound off of my PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This does not work with surround sound with PS5, but it's the only way that I can get audio out of the PS5 without destroying my stream. So when I use this, it's basically like stereo sound with simulated surround. It's not great. Here I am being stupid, and I'm playing Sonic on my Xbox Series X, which has surround sound. All I need to do is plug those headphones into that controller, and I actually get full surround sound, great quality, with the Xbox Series X. I stupidly had it plugged into this. So all those grooving tunes that I love from the 1990s, and I'm hearing them nerfed and sounding all washed out and shitty because I'm using the wrong audio. I'm very upset with myself because I love the classic music, especially Sonic CD. It's a game that I played on PC in the 90s, and I liked the soundtrack so much, I would take the CD with me and play it in like a boombox or my car because I liked the music so much. So now here I am playing through the game with shitty washed out audio, like an idiot. So, today I will be using true surround sound for the finale of Sonic CD and then Sonic 2, which I'll be very excited for. Okay? Good stuff. So how far will we get? We're definitely going to beat Sonic CD today. We're near the end. But Sonic 2, I don't think we'll beat it, but we'll probably get a good chunk into it. Okay? Then tonight on the late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it is the end game and possible conclusion of Skyrim Anniversary Edition. That's correct. A playthrough I've been doing now for 6 months. I started this playthrough, the Christmas Marathon of 2021. We've now been playing it regularly since then. So, it is time to finish it, okay? When I say that, I mean, let's wrap it up. Let's go ahead and, see if we can beat it. Now, will we beat it tonight? I don't know. There's really only one thing, all right, that I want to do in the game, and that's get the Dragon Priest masks. We got most of them. I think we're missing 2 or 3. So I want to get the remaining Dragon Priest masks, and I want to trade them in at Labyrinthian. If you go into the warp, you go to the final area, and that's then you get like a special mask or something like that. Okay? So I want to do that. And then I want to beat the game. And I don't actually think we have many story missions left. So very possibly we may have a situation where we beat it tonight. It may actually be the conclusion of Skyrim tonight. All right? Or not. It could be that we need maybe 2 streams to beat it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But what I would say is if you've been along for the ride for Skyrim, do not miss tonight's stream. This is it. This is the final countdown. This is the last content we're doing in the game before we basically wrap it up and we move on to something else to take its place. Okay? So, I hope that you guys will join me tonight. It should be a lot of fun. Skyrim on the late stream. Okay? Then, tomorrow, we're going to swing back to the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. That's right. Castlevania had a collection that we've been playing last week. We played through all of Castlevania 1 on the NES, and we're almost done with Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. We have a little bit left to do, maybe 1 or 2 more dungeons, and then the finale. So we're going to wrap that up, and then we're going to move into Castlevania 3, okay? Which is actually much better than 2. It's one where it's classic Castlevania again, linear and side-scrolling, and you get to play as various different characters in this one, which is kind of neat to be able to swap characters and the characters play differently. It's kind of cool. So I think that's going to be really nice, okay? Tomorrow night, the late stream will be more Capcom Fighting Collection, but I'm going to leave the control of that stream in your hands. And what I mean by that is you guys will vote. Do you want to see me go through the arcade modes of Red Earth and Cyberbots, which I've never done before, or would you prefer if I do more online play? I would be okay with either, but it's really, I'll put the power in your hands for that, okay? Cool. All right. Then on Tuesday, which, yes, I am here on Tuesday. It's my final streaming day of the week. We're going to do more Sonic Origins. So I'm assuming at that point I'll have been into Sonic 2, so we'll probably wrap up Sonic 2 and probably head into Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, isn't that a combination of both games? So does it have the campaigns of both games in it, I believe? So it's going to be a lengthy game. In fact, isn't it the longest Sonic game ever made because it's a combination of two? So I doubt we're going to beat it or anything. We'll probably just start it, and then we'll probably have to do 1 to 2 more streams in order to wrap up the Sonic Origins collection. Okay? So that's going to be Tuesday's main stream, and then Tuesday night is up in the air. If we still need another stream to finish Skyrim, then Tuesday night will be the finale of Skyrim. If we beat Skyrim already, then maybe I'll do more Castlevania, maybe we'll do more Capcom Fighting Collection. It all depends on how Skyrim goes tonight, which we won't know till we play it, okay? So, oh man, that was a really disgusting large one. I'm sorry about that, everyone. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so that's the week right now. So Wednesday's my day off. Thursday, when I come back from break, there's a new game. It's the Cuphead Delicious Last Course DLC. So I'm going to have to re-download Cuphead on my Series X. I don't know if the save file's in the cloud. I hope so. And then we're going to play the DLC together and see what it is. It's apparently very short, only like 4 hours long. Then again, I haven't played Cuphead in 5 years, so it very well may take a while, maybe 2 streams to beat this DLC rather than 1, okay? And then later this week, I will balance the things that I'm still doing. Castlevania, Sonic Origins, some more Capcom Fighting Collection. Now, when we start to wrap these up, there's a couple things on the agenda. First of all, as I've already mentioned, I'm going to make time, likely today, if not very soon, to make the poll for you guys to start voting on the viewer's choice game you want to see, okay? You guys have been nominating games for like 3 weeks, and I need to make the poll so you can start voting. Whatever wins the viewer's choice poll will be a full playthrough that I'll be starting in very early July, okay? In addition to that, once Skyrim is done, this opens us up to being able to play another RPG. Now, a couple initial ideas for an RPG that we can play. The first was an RPG that I talked about a month ago, Earthbound. SNES game that's very quirky, fun, unique. I've played it once before, like 9 or 10 years ago, okay, for you guys. I really love the game, but I think having an interactive stream like I do now while I play it would make it a very different and very fun game, as opposed to initially it was just me kind of playing it and ignoring my viewing audience. So I think it would be a much better playthrough. Another idea I have, original Final Fantasy VII. Yes. Imagine if I played original Final Fantasy VII, all right, and I basically did it for 2 months, you know, July and August, and so we could do all the fun content of the game. This is a game that I wanted to play years ago, before the Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, but people voted against it, all right? But now, by playing this game, it would give us a frame of reference for playing the new Final Fantasy game coming out next year, right? Was it Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? So now we'll have the frame of reference, because remember, in the original Final Fantasy VII, certain events happen that are changing in this reboot franchise. So by seeing the original, we'll be able to compare it directly to the new one when it comes out. I think that would be a great thing to do, to see the changes and everything, okay? So I'd be down for that if that's what you guys are interested in. Or if you guys have an idea for another RPG, I'd be down. However, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be an open world Bethesda RPG. Already people in the chat are like, Fallout 4, Oblivion, Morrowind, Fallout 3. No. No. We literally just played Fallout New Vegas last year, and then went right into Oblivion, we went right into Skyrim for 6 months. It's time to take a break from Bethesda RPGs. They take too long, and as much as I like them, we need to do variety. We need variety, not the same fucking kind of shit constantly, okay? So, we'll talk about this, okay? We will. Over the next week, I'd like to talk with you guys, so we're gonna play Skyrim tonight, and maybe finish it, if not Tuesday. So maybe like next week, early July, we'll be looking to add a new RPG to the mix. The question is, what one? Here's the thing, like, I would be down for Final Fantasy VII, but what's the best way to play it? Is it on Xbox? Is it on current PlayStation? You know, are there different versions? Did they ever release a version that looks better? I don't even know. I have no clue. So without that kind of guidance from you guys, I wouldn't even know where to go or where to begin to look into playing those games, okay? So we got that. Now in addition, we got this marathon coming up. That's going to be a React marathon. I'm thinking, you know, looking at the schedule, okay? Obviously, there's no way that I'm going to be doing it this coming weekend. That would be ridiculous. There's no way I'm going to just rush it, and it's going to be next weekend. So I think what we'll do is it'll be that second weekend of July, the 9th or the 10th, that Saturday or Sunday. One of those days will be the special React Marathon event. What will we be doing? Well, I'm going to be doing some React content, okay? It's either going to be to a documentary, like one from Frederick Knudsen or June the King, or we could do some other style content if you wanted to see me react to some like supernatural video countdowns or like crime documentary stuff like that. So that's what I have right now lined up for React content. All right, we're not doing drama content. I refuse to do react to this is how you don't play. React to a detractor video. Fuck no. We did enough of that. Seriously, I'm tired of it, and I really don't want to be doing that kind of shit. In the near future. I'm not saying we would never do it. I'm just saying we did so much of it back to back that it put me on overload. I just have no desire to do anything like that right now, okay? So, one day we'll do a marathon of that React style content, plus a Feasting with the King episode, plus my next sim match in WWE 2K22. It'll be another 30-man over-the-top rope battle royale with fantasy characters that I'll collect and put into the game. You guys absolutely loved the fantasy match that I did over a month ago, so I'm dying to do another one. I think you guys will really like this next one I'll put together for you, okay? So that's going to be coming. That's likely, like I said, probably not the first weekend of July. That's too soon. You know, I don't have a time to really put it together in a week, but a week after that, so probably that second weekend of July is when we'll do that, okay? So just think about the new stuff coming up. We've got a new RPG coming up. We got whatever you guys vote for Viewers' Choice coming up. And we've got the React Marathon coming up, okay? Pretty exciting stuff. And then, by the way, I believe we're going to be doing Ask the King next week. Not this week coming up, but the week after. So, we got a lot of variety. Good stuff coming up. And I hope that you guys are excited for the variety of stuff that we're doing. I know there's no new game releases. I get it. You know, it sucks. There's nothing going on in the realm of new releases. There's not much you can do. You know, so you do your best with what's out there, right? And that's what I'm doing right now is... you know, trying to make do with the content that's out there. And I hope that you guys shall join me for that good stuff, okay? All right. Outside of all of that, what else do I really have to talk about? Not much. I will say a couple quick things. Remember, when we're playing Sonic today, and I said every time I play Sonic Origins, this will be the case. There will be a special Tier 4 fundraising goal today. As you know, whenever I stream, we have tiered rewards. If we raise $50 in tips, I put on Gunner glasses. At $100 in tips, you guys get to vote on a hat for me to wear. Okay? At $150 in tips, you get to vote for a vest for me to wear. Well, today, excuse me, I gotta burp again. I don't know what's going on with this seltzer water. Excuse me. Today, if we hit a Tier 4 fundraising goal of $200, I'll be wearing the coveted Sonic hat. Why is it a Tier 4 reward? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, that hat is incredibly uncomfortable. It really is. When I wear that hat, it's like wearing a pillow or a heavy stuffed animal on my head. My head heats up and I sweat. So, I want to make it so that it's not something easy to reach, and we're just doing it immediately because it's not very comfortable for me when I wear it. In addition to that, I wanted to feel like something special. Like, oh, we hit an achievement to wear the hat rather than it just being an arbitrary thing, you know? So it'd be great if we can hit it today. We actually got close when I actually played this on Thursday, but we did not hit it. We got like, I think we got like 156, and then we didn't hit 200. Excuse me. So, there we go. That's going to be happening today. Now, in addition to that, in regards to memberships, okay, here's what's going to happen. July is going to hit in a few days. All right, today's the 26th. It's 30 days in June. It's going to be July very shortly. I believe it was either June 1st or 2nd. Someone gifted a lot of memberships to the channel. So within a few days, we're going to dip a bunch of gifted memberships. Okay, and that's fine. That's to be expected. What I would hope is that for those of you who enjoyed those gifted memberships over the last month, perhaps a few of you would consider renewing because you really liked it. In fact, that's how the growth happens here, is that for every gifted membership, right, maybe every once in a while someone says, oh, I really like that, I want to keep it. And then it ends up being real growth for the channel. All right. So I will have a goal for the month of July. Okay. An interesting, unique, and exciting goal. I know what it's going to be. I've actually thought about this, and I think I know what I want to do. Okay. I think it'll be something unique and different. But we basically have to wait for the members to drop before I set up the member goal for July. It wouldn't make much sense for on July 1st, well, let's say July 1st we're at 500 members. I say, okay, so the member goal for this month is 550 members. And then on July 2nd, we dip down to 400 members because all the gifted memberships expire. Oops, right? That would be pretty stupid. So I kind of want to wait till like maybe July 2nd-ish and wait for those gifted memberships to expire and then set the new membership goal. So that way it's realistic rather than it being inflated and bad and then stupid and unreachable, you see? So, Holy Warrior Tonin says, can I put on the Sonic hat now so you can get a preview? No. What's the point of that? What's the point of giving you the reward early? That wouldn't make any sense. And Aldwin, by the way, wants to wear the Sonic hat right now. So absolutely not. I'm not doing that. Okay. Ridiculous. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Anything else to talk about today before we get to shout outs? I don't think so. We have 0 shout outs on the YouTube side. No super chats. No super stickers. No memberships. No gifted memberships. We do have 47 likes, but no contributions on the YouTube side. 0. So I have nothing to shout out there. However, my stream title is wrong, letting me know in case it carries over. Let's finish Sonic CD and get to my fave, Sonic 2. Sonic Origins, June 26, 2022. What are you talking about? There's a capital I in Finnish. Why is it all capitalized now? What the hell? I didn't have caps lock on. Apparently I did have caps lock on. Is that better? Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So anyway, thank you for telling me I fixed it. Okay. So nothing on the YouTube side. Let's do some tip shout outs. First of all, thank you to Tarantula MS 2018 for a $10 tip. I saw your email. I did not have a chance to fully read it and respond yet, but I did get it, and I will do that when I get a chance, hopefully later today. Thank you, Tarantula, for the tip. Okay. And Snow Carl tipped $1.50. This is why have you not attempted to repeat the massive success of the Vest stream from 2020? Even a gunner streak might improve the lackluster performance of night streams in recent months. Has there been a hat streak? Cheers. No. Would you like me to talk about this topic? Is it important? If you'd like me to, I will. By the way, my eyes are burning right now. Ow. I don't know why they're burning like this. Ah. Ah. Okay. Okay. So here's the deal. 2 years ago. Yeah, I know it's been a while. It doesn't seem like that long, but it's been over 2 years ago. Late February 2020, I was doing a marathon, a throwback marathon where we were doing a retrospective, meaning we were watching old content from my past and doing current day commentary over it, okay? So, as we're doing this, we just happened to select a random channel update video from like many years ago, like over a decade ago. So I think it was like a 2010 channel update video that we're watching. And it's interesting because you're seeing me from 10 years ago and how different I look and stuff like that. And as we're watching it, people notice that I'm wearing a vest. This vest. It's beige, it's puffy. All right? So I'm wearing it in the video. And people are like, Phil, why are you wearing that in the video? And you know, why do you not wear that kind of stuff in your videos today? So I explained that back in the day, basically what would happen is like once a week I would go out with my parents and have dinner with my parents. And frequently what would happen is, since that second half of the day was dedicated to spending some time with my parents, I wasn't filming gameplay. But what I would do is I would do vlogging. Maybe I would do the weekend preview. Maybe I would do a channel update. And when I did, I would just wear whatever clothes that I was actually wearing outside of my home. I would actually just kind of put on and wear in the video, you see? So this is the vest that I was wearing in particular video. So people are like, wow, you know, that kind of looks unique. That's interesting. You never wear that kind of stuff on streams. Do you still have it? So I was sitting there during the marathon. I'm like, you know, I don't know. I have no idea. I guess maybe I should try to figure this out. So I went downstairs. I went and started looking at my closets. Lo and behold, this vest is hanging in my closet. I was like, wow, I have it. So I put it on. And people were like, wow, that's cool. So now what happened was people started asking, will you wear the vest in videos? I was like, well, what we should do maybe is do it as an incentive. So if people support a stream to a certain amount, right, then I'll put on the vest. And the amount that we settled on was a $100 tips stretch goal. So if I raised $100 on a particular stream, I would put on the vest. Well, starting in early March when we announced this goal, I was doing it every stream. Literally every stream. And I hit the tips goal every stream throughout March, April, May, and it went into June, I believe. Now think about this. Twice a day I'm streaming. Each stream I'm raising a full $100 of tips. So for a couple of months there, it was helping me tremendously. Now keep in mind, when this was happening, I was going through my bankruptcy. Okay? So I was in a really bad financial position at that time. And this was helping me tremendously to get through that. Because I had no credit at that point. I had debt up to my ass. At that time, I was still stuck paying really stupid things. Like, even though I hadn't lived there for years and years and years and it was in foreclosure, I was still forced to pay condo dues on my old condo in Connecticut because legally I was bound to do so until the foreclosure fully went through, which took several years, okay? So, it was helping me a ton. People actually just said it was 276 streams. I guess people tracked it. So, wow, that was over, 4 months? Well, wait a minute. Think about it this way. Yeah, 4 months. March, April, May, June. I guess it ended in July. That's pretty insane, okay? And like I said, thank God it helped me tremendously at that point. It was like a godsend, basically. Because without that, I don't know how I would have gotten through that time with the bankruptcy being so messed up and everything. So, what ended up happening was people liked the vest, but then over time they wanted more of that. So I ended up buying more vests and having a variety of vests on the stream. All right. Now what ended up happening over time was some things changed. Let me go put the vest back, and then I'll explain. So, I had been a full-time streamer on Twitch for a long time. I started full-time streaming on Twitch in early 2017, and so you're talking 3-4 year streak on Twitch. I had a big viewer base, and I had a lot of supporters. I had every month around 800, if not more, subscribers, and a ton of cheers and things would come in regularly. It was a regular thing that I would get tons of support on Twitch every single day. And a lot of that was the Prime memberships. A lot of that was that there was ways to earn free cheering and stuff like that. So, excuse me. Oh, ooh, excuse me. So, it was quite awesome, the amount of support that I had as a full-time Twitch streamer. And then I lost my partnership on Twitch for no good reason. And they still, to this day, have not justified their reason, which is illegal. They basically violated our partnership contract agreement. And when that happened, I left Twitch, and I came over here and started streaming on YouTube full-time. That was in May of last year, okay? Although there's definitely a slow build, and there's definitely an increase in the viewers that I have here, and an increase in the support that I have here, to this day, I am still not back at the level where I was on Twitch. I can tell you right now, memberships, way less than the amount of subs that I had on Twitch, okay? Super chats and super stickers, nowhere near the amount of cheers that I got when I was on Twitch. So, what I ended up doing was trying to find a way to help make up for that, and we made tiered tip rewards. So now, if I raise $50 in tips, I put on Gunner glasses. If I raise $100 in tips, I put on a hat of your choice. If I raise $150 in tips, I'll put on a vest of your choice. The point here is to try to incentivize people to tip, because the tips I get right away, and they can help me make up for the fact that I lost so much income going from Twitch to YouTube. Although, admittedly, if you take a look, a year after, I'm not even close to building this channel back to where my Twitch channel was. So, the increase to tips helps. Although, admittedly, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm not regularly hitting the tip goals anymore. At one point, I was. Last year, when I had first moved to YouTube, within those first 2 months, people were very supportive. And then at some point here, it's trailed off. So now what's happening is I'm not hitting the tips goals, but I'm still not making the income I'm making on Twitch. I'm making way less. Which is why when people say, well, I don't understand, Phil, why do you keep saying that money's tight? Now you know. This is why. Because I'm not making what I used to make a year ago, and the tips dried up, essentially. The increase to tips that I was getting died off, and so now things are very tight, and they're just going to be tight until I build this channel up further to get more regular income from memberships and super chats and super stickers, okay? Or if somehow I see some kind of a steady increase in tips, which I don't see how that would happen. So, to get back to the point here, Snow Carl is saying, have I attempted to do anything here like the vest streak? No. What I was doing is every day that I hit a vest goal, all right, I would put on stream here on the screen vest streak and the number of days or number of streams, excuse me, that we hit the streak, okay? Now here's the thing. It was definitely fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun doing that. And man, there were some streams where like we would not even be close to hitting the tips goal, and then all of a sudden, last minute to keep the streak going, boom, someone would come in and drop a big tip, and wow, the streak continues. I mean, 276 straight streams. That's insane. It was like 4 or 5 months of insane support, over-the-top support. Pretty ridiculous, right? Pretty awesome, too. It helped a ton, like I said. But here's what ended up happening. Near the tail end of me doing this vest streak, basically people would come in here, and I hate to say it, but they were trolls who would pretend to be my fans. And they would come in, and literally all they would talk about is talk about the vest streak and money. So I'd be playing a game, right? And I'm trying to concentrate on the game and interact with you guys and have a good stream. And here's the people, oh my God, there's only 20 minutes left on Phil's stream. He hasn't hit the streak yet. So this means the streak's going to end. He's not going to hit the goal today. Oh no, doom and gloom. And then literally the entire fucking chat would be like 10 people who were all just talking about this. And it would completely derail the stream. And it would completely and utterly, all right, fuck everything up. And people who were here for the fun and people who were here for gameplay and just, interact with me were turned completely off, to the point where regulars who had watched my stream for years started to contact me behind the scenes and complain. And they were like, listen, we understand the vet streak is a huge positive for you, and we understand you need the help right now, but it is ruining your content. The fact that we can't come to your streams without having people just talk about money and the vet streak constantly, it was too derailing. Okay? So, eventually the streak ended. And when the streak ended, all right, basically people were like actually like feeling refreshed. They were like, wow, now that the streak is over, we can actually kind of get back to normalcy. It was like a 4 or 5 month period where it wasn't normal. And then people liked the fact that it got back to normalcy after that, okay? Now, all that being said, all right, would I be in a better position if the streak continued? Yes. Right now, if we had a streak of support with tips, like if I was doing, I don't know, let's say I was doing a hat streak, okay? So every stream where we qualify for the hat goal, I start counting. Maybe there would be incentive for people to contribute to keep a hat streak going, because it's something you're building towards, right? But at the same time, when I was doing that, people absolutely positively were derailing the streams. So if I were ever to bring back a streak, okay, like that, the moment I see derailment, I would just have to moderate the people and get them out of here, and I don't care. It would be like a no-nonsense policy. It would be like, okay, I understand, you're excited for the streak, but you can't derail my streams talking about it the entire second half of every stream that I do. And in particular, it was really bad on the night streams, because remember, night streams are 2 hours long. The entire second hour would be, oh my God, we didn't hit the goal. It's going to end. The streak's over. Oh no. Like, I think here on YouTube would be a little different. I think we could control YouTube a little better too. Remember, this was back on Twitch. Here on YouTube, we have better control over the situation. But, like, okay, how about this? All right? How about this? As an experiment, today, if we hit a hat goal, $100 tips goal, I will start doing a hat streak, okay? Because that's the equivalent of the vest streak. Remember, the vest streak was $100, okay? So we'll test it, okay? If we hit a hat goal on this stream, $100 tips, then we will start a hat streak, all right? And we'll see what happens. And if we keep hitting it, great. But if we don't, then forget it. It's not a big deal. And, there's no reason to continue trying to do a streak. Because that was the thing. Like, people wanted me to do the streak again. And I tried to do it, and it didn't work. Within, like, a few streams, we just didn't hit the goal. And I was like, all right, then retire it. And we did. But now it's been a couple of years. So I guess maybe we could, bring it back. I don't think it's going to work, by the way. I don't even think we're going to hit $100 on this stream. I don't believe it. It'd be nice if we did. It would help a ton. Don't get me wrong. We had $200. We get this guy, right? But I'll be honest. I don't see it happening. I see, big support coming in again when I start doing marathon events. When I start doing new releases, I don't see it happening. But maybe I'm just being negative. Maybe I'm being cynical. I don't know. Okay. So, let's see what happens. We'll try it today. Okay? If we hit $100 of tips, we'll start a hat streak. There you go. Gamer Guy tipped me $1.50. He says, you hear heavy rumors regarding a state of play on June 30th. Big rumors that God of War Ragnarok's release date will be revealed. Yes, I heard the rumors. But that's exactly what they are. There's no confirmation of anything yet. Sony has not said a word. So until we get that information, I'm not going to go crazy about it. If you take a look at our schedule for this week, that would be Thursday, which is the release of the Cuphead DLC. So I guess we'd have to see if they're going to do a state of play, what time it would be, and figure it out, okay? But I don't know if I would react to that or not. Depends. We have to see. We have to get more information, okay? Okay. Big Allen to the $1.50 says, I feel like trolls still do that thing you're describing about with the vest streak, but with tips now. They'll come in, they pretend to be fake fans. They'll say, "Oh, anyone notice how low the tips are? It's a slow stream," but it's like, who are they trying to fool? I know. They do it all the time. No one should be talking about that shit but me. It's my stream, right? It's my stream. I'm the one who determines if a stream is doing well or not. I'm the one who, if I feel I have to mention it, should mention it. Why would a viewer even mention that? Why would a viewer care? Because they're a shithead troll who wants to derail the stream and have people just start talking about money. That's what it is. I'm not stupid. So thank you for that tip, Big Allen. And then Snow Carlton, another $1.50. He said, here's another $1 to get us going. If it fails today, would you consider reintroducing the classic vest as the $100 goal and try again? I mean, if you guys want me to do that, remember, that's what we had originally. And then you guys said, no, flip it. Make the hat 100 so it's more attainable. Make the vest 150 so that's the end goal. If you wanted a vest at 100, I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. At this point, I have air conditioning pumping, so it's not like I'm going to overheat. I'm going to have the air conditioning on anyway. I don't really care. Okay. All right. Some shout outs on the YouTube side have come in now. Let's see here. So shout out to NixN6, who became a channel member. Thank you to NixN6 for the membership. I don't know if that counted as a new one or not. Let me check. Let's take a look here. I completely clicked on the wrong thing. Let's try again. It did. We're at 545 members now. Oops. Clicked on the wrong thing again. A lot of misclicks. A simple misclick. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then I got a super chat from 672, who's just for the streak. Now 672 knows well that doesn't count. He's trolling. How dare you troll me, 672. I don't appreciate being trolled. Especially by regulars. Come on, you know better. Ban him? People want me to ban 672. Alright. How about I time him out? Let's time him out. Or how about I institute he can only type with 2 letters. So he can only type in the chat with 2 letters, and we have to decipher what he's saying like Morse code. What do you think? There you go. Some guy is trying to say I owe a Patreon video and is asking people to spam chat. I don't know who that is, but they're a liar. I don't owe anyone any Patreon videos. That's a complete lie. Some asshole. Okay. Alright, so just to reiterate. Today, the goals are in effect. $50, gunner glasses, $100, a hat of your choice. $150 a vest of your choice. And if we hit $200 of fundraising on the stream today, it'll be the Sonic hat. If we hit $100 in tips, we will begin a hat streak and see if we can maintain it. I don't think we will, but it's going to, at the most, it'll last one stream. There's no way we're hitting $100 in tips tonight on Skyrim. There's no way. It's just not happening. I have zero belief that would happen. And no, astronaut, I'm not going to be doing a nude streak at $500 plus. If you'd like to see men in the nude, you should check out this guy. He's really popular on YouTube. He's called Review Tech USA. He's frequently half naked, sucking on cucumbers, topless, just, you know, that kind of stuff over there, if that's what you'd like to see. Okay. Expand Dong, there's nothing I can do about that. He says, did you ever do anything to make it so that emails don't go to spam? I can't. The thing is, my email address has been used for a long time. And I get so many spam emails that the spam filter just goes crazy. You know, and what I need to do every once in a while is I will go into my spam folder and take a look, and half the time I find emails that are completely legit, and there's not much I can do about that. It's just a symptom of having so many emails thrown at me over the years, you know. Eternal says, can we set rewards after a certain amount of streaks? Maybe different rewards for each higher streak? Possibly, but let's hit 1 before we even fucking talk about rewards for streaks. It's ridiculous. You're like saying, oh, so when you hit 50, you're going to do a big reward. We didn't hit 1. So what are you talking about? Okay. What's the hottest it's ever gotten in Seattle? Well, I can tell you the hottest it's ever been here, 111 degrees. That was last summer. We hit record high temperature here ever in history, 111 degrees Fahrenheit. It was bad. Things were melting that were not supposed to melt. Let's put it that way. No, I'm not replaying Dragon's Dogma. As much fun as I had with the game when it was new, it's a very lengthy, grindy style game. Ugh, and I don't think that people are going to want to see that. It's very time consuming, too. So I don't think I would replay Dragon's Dogma. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Gut says, are you sure you want to do another streak? I mean, it's not a big deal. To me, it's not a big deal. Other people, for some reason, treat it like it's some big deal. It's like, it's not a big deal, man. It's just not. I don't see the big deal. Olivia says, what about Dark Cloud? I mean, I played Dark Cloud on PlayStation Plus Premium a week ago. Some people felt nostalgic about it, but I didn't get any kind of high-level demand for it. If people really wanted to see it, I'd consider it, but I haven't really heard that yet. All right, so now with about roughly 20 minutes left until I usually start gameplay, I will open up the stream chat to Q&A. If you'd like to ask me a question, please tag me in the stream chat. Keep in mind, as you know, I do not do politics. I do not do religion. I do not do that kind of stuff. I just ban 2 people who are trying to derail the stream. I enjoy doing it. So, there you go. Who's my least favorite Tekken character? Lars. I think he's a weirdo. He doesn't play like other Tekken characters at all. He's just a very odd playstyle. I don't like it. Honey barbecue or garlic parm wings? Probably honey barbecue. When I think wings, I think barbecue flavor. Garlic parm sounds weirdly cheesy wings. That doesn't sound delicious. Saul did a super chat. Do you feel 40 or so more like 30 or early 30s? I mean, let me put it this way, okay? In my mind, in my brain, all right, I don't feel old. All right, I just don't. I feel like I still have youthful. I'm still quick on my wits. I mean, obviously, how can I do live streams full time all day long as my job if I wasn't quick on my wits to be able to react to what people are saying and things like that, you know, or play games, you know. But as I get older, definitely my body is what's going to break down. Okay, I'm happy that I started doing my walks, my working out, power walking, whatever you want to call it, because just in the last month that I've been doing it, I actually feel tremendously better. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, right now I get up. Look at that. I just jumped up. No problem. No pain. Everything's good. My legs feel healthy. I can easily move around. No problem. All right? Before I started doing those walks, I actually would have pain in my legs getting up. Like, all my muscles would feel like tense. My knees would crack and shit. it was bad because I was just sitting sedentary all day long for how many years, not doing any movement, right? So I actually have a lot of flexibility now in my legs that I had lost for a while. I got it all back. I now have wind again. I can walk and do things and not get tired. I've gotten my wind back within a month of just doing basic like power walking. I now have wind again. I used to go check my mail, which is way at the front of the street here down in my private community. I would walk to get the mail, walk back. I'd walk into the house. I'd be drenched in sweat and breathing heavily, completely exhausted. Now I could do that, come back, I'm perfectly normal. So just within a month of like walking, I feel so much better, you know? But that's the thing, like I wasn't doing that for the longest time. My body was feeling terrible because of it. So I'm excited that I'm feeling better. And what I want to do, as I told you guys, is once I get to a point where I feel like it's not really pushing me or challenging my body anymore, I want to push it more, where I want to maybe start actually jogging. And what I'm thinking of doing, as I've told you guys, is changing my schedule around a little bit. Right now, I'm not going to, especially now it's the summer, I'm definitely not going to. But depending on how things go over the summer, maybe once like the fall hits and it gets cooler, what I might start doing is getting up earlier in the morning and actually doing it every day. Right now, I do it every other day, but maybe I do it every single day. I get up and I do my workout before I do anything. Then maybe I take a shower because I'm going to be sweaty as shit after I do it. And then maybe I have breakfast and then I stream. So if I'm doing that every day and it's part of my regimen and my routine, my body will get used to that physical activity. It'll crave that level of physical activity. I know because this is what I used to do when I used to lift weights. My body would actually want me to lift weights. And you might say, oh, working out is hard, man. Working out is painful and it's rough. But once you get into a regimen, your body expects it and wants it, and it starts to feel good to do it. And that's the point I want to get to again. I want to get to a point where actually doing physical activity, working out, feels good again. So, probably I'm going to look to do that maybe in the fall. Right now, it's going to be too hot. The summer's just hitting. Just today, it's going to be 90 degrees. Tomorrow, it's going to be 90. And Tuesday, it's going to be 90 degrees here. Do you really think this is the time to start doing that shit? No. Okay? But likely what I'm thinking of doing is maybe come the fall, maybe I could, or, you know, one thing that could be really cool is maybe if I could get like a cheap treadmill or something. I'm not talking one of these super expensive $1,000 treadmills, but you could probably get one that's like an indoor treadmill, you know, and maybe I could use that during hot summer months. So I'm not outside, you know, passing out from the heat. I guess I got to think about it. Okay. But yeah, anyway, physically, I'm starting to feel better because I've been doing this activity. Okay. Which is a good thing, obviously. But I'll definitely tell you, like, there's things as I get older. Do I feel like I'm 40? Well, mentally, no, I still feel acute. I still feel like I'm witty. I'm on the ball. I can react to things. I can play games. I can do the things that I want to do. But it is a little weird. There are things that I definitely notice. I'll give you an example. When I eat dinner, if I eat a heavy meal, I actually start to feel tired. Like, I actually feel like I want to go to sleep. And that's never happened to me before. And I've noticed it the past, like, 1 or 2 years. After I eat dinner, all of a sudden my body is telling me go to sleep. And that's something that happens, I guess, as you get older. I don't know why. But now what I do is if I'm feeling tired, that's when I run outside and I start walking. So now I get the energy flowing, and now it doesn't, really affect me like that anymore. You see? Also, I can say I've noticed that as I'm getting older, sometimes I want to say something and I say the wrong thing. I don't know why. It must be something to do when you're getting older. You know, your wires get a little crossed or whatever. So I want to say, I'll just give you an example. I'll want to say, man, that was a really delicious blueberry pie. But instead, I'll say, wow, that was a really delicious apple pie. And my wife will say, but we just had blueberry pie. Like, I meant to say blueberry. I don't know why, but I've noticed that. Like, as I'm getting older, that kind of thing happens more often. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I never used to be like that. It used to be like, I always, on the ball, witty saying what I want, but now it seems like a little bit of lag or a little bit of wires crossed. You say the wrong word. I don't know why. Now, I'm sure people will say that, I have a brain aneurysm or something that's causing this. Because this is what idiots do, is that they make up stupid shit, But they'll say, now I need to go and get an MRI on my brain because this is obviously signs of like a brain tumor or something, because they're morons. No, it's because you're getting older. It happens. It's called aging. You'll have it too one day, I promise you. If you reach 40 years old like me, you'll start to see these things change. And you'll be like, oh, okay, well, I see some things are starting to change a little bit, Anyway. Okay. So do I feel 40? Mentally, no. Mentally, I feel like I feel the same as when I started making YouTube videos. Seriously, like, and that was what, 14, almost 14 years ago. I kind of feel the same. I feel like I'm the same guy. I feel like we're having this, fun together every day. I love video games. I love sharing this with you. I love streaming with you guys. I'm the same guy. But physically, I'm getting older, and there's not much I can really do about that, Snow Carlton, another $1.50 says a lot of men start taking hormone replacements and working out when they cross 40 to prevent further aging and losing your drives. Is this something you would consider? If your insurance covered it, I will definitely get on it when I get older. I don't think I really have an issue there. If I did have an issue, I probably would look into it. I don't think I have that issue. And by the way, as I just said, I don't think, I don't know if I will. Maybe I will. Maybe as I get older. That's the thing. Aging is nothing to be ashamed of. For some reason in our society, all right, people seem to treat aging as like some kind of an embarrassment. Oh my God, you got older. Everyone gets older. There's no one who will stay young forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can't happen. So as you get older, you're going to notice things change. And you can either live with it, or you can try to make life adjustments to help prevent it or delay it. But these things are going to happen, So the earlier you accept that, the better. I know that I'm not going to be such a handsome stud forever. My looks are definitely going. My looks, yes. Anyway. All right, let's get back. Let's talk to other things. Let's talk about some other stuff now. You've embarrassed me greatly on my own stream for talking about this topic that I'm getting old. How dare you? Gareth says, what is your least favorite fighting game? In July, I'll be getting Capcom Fighting Collection and Sonic Origins. Awesome. You'll probably like both games. My least favorite fighting game? Ugh. Man. My absolute positively least favorite fighting game. Ow. I'm probably going to say something that I know exactly what I'm going to say. All right? There was a game that for the longest time, people would hype it up and say that it was a really good game. It was a fighting game I never played because it was console exclusive. As you know, I would play fighting games in arcades. And if they were ported to consoles, I would play them. But there was a fighting game that was a console exclusive that everyone always touted. Oh, it's a great game. You're really missing out if you don't play it. It doesn't need to be in arcades because it's, it's so good you play it on console. When I finally played it, I was so disappointed because it was a piece of shit, in my opinion. Okay? And I think that people had completely overhyped it for whatever reason. I don't know why. But when I played it, I was so disappointed in what it was. I was like, damn. Like I can't believe people talked positively about this game for so long and that it's really this bad. And the game is called... Everyone's trying to guess and no one got it right. Eternal Champions. I believe it was a Sega. I don't know if it was on Genesis. I think it was Genesis. And I think there was actually... Was there a Sega CD and a 32X version of it too? I didn't like it. Everyone had said that it was such a good game. And I played it and I was like... There's nothing interesting. It's boring. The characters are ripoffs from other franchises, or the original characters just aren't fun to play. I didn't even feel like it was competitive. I felt like it was kind of like a shitty masher game. It was hard to get your special moves out. I didn't like the graphics. I just didn't like it. I never enjoyed it when I finally got around to playing it. Maybe it's just the version that I played I didn't like. I don't remember what version I played either. Maybe I played the Genesis version and the other versions are better. I don't know. But I just thought it was completely and utterly over exaggerated at how good it was when I didn't think it was very good at all. Okay. Now, some people are saying other things. What about Shaq Fu? I didn't play Shaq Fu back in the day. I only played Shaq Fu for the first time when everyone on the internet like 10, 15 years ago was memeing about it. Everyone memed about Shaq Fu being like the worst game. Screw Attack, one of the groups of people, content creators on the internet that I used to follow before I was a YouTuber, had a whole series about it, and they would find these games and destroy them. I was at a convention where they bought Shaq Fu from like a marketplace at the convention, and they brought it into the bathroom and it pissed on it. So there you go. Wario2255 to me $1.50 said they added a new hidden zone in Sonic 2. To get to it, you must be in Mystic Cave Zone 2. You stay on the lower level till you jump past spikes with a spring next to it and a green wall that goes up and down, and you'll see a hole go down the hole. I certainly would like to check this out. Sounds interesting. I wonder why they added a new area to Sonic 2. All right, Mystic Cave Zone 2. So when we get to Mystic Cave Zone 2, we'll have to bring up this tip and see if we can figure this out. Thank you for the tip, Wario. I think there's more super chats, too. Yeah, there are a couple super chats. Hold on. So Little Crow did a couple super chats. His first one, he says, Power Wash Simulator playthrough when it comes out. Power Washing Simulator, oh boy. And then he did another super chat. He says, thought you were going to say Jump Force. I don't even see Jump Force as a fighting game. Really, I don't. It doesn't even play like a real fighting game, you know. I would say Jump Force is more of like a action combat game, but it's definitely not a serious fighting game or anything like that. When you say fighting game to me, I think classic 2D, mano-a-mano combat. That's what I think of when you say fighting game. Okay. You fall in the pit of death, you get to a hidden palace. It was added in the mobile release. Oh. And then they're talking about Sonic 2. If I had to pick up a sporting activity to keep fit, what would I pick and why? I have no idea. I'm not into sports, so I have no idea. I don't even know what would be viable where I live. Darcy X says, do you think gaming's been lackluster so far this year? Well, let's take a look at this year so far. So far this year, here's what has come out. Here we go. Sifu, Dying Light 2. Actually, Pokemon was in there too. Pokemon Legends Arceus, Sifu, Dying Light 2, King of Fighters 15, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghostwire Tokyo, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, excuse me, Bugsnax, the Isle of Big Snacks DLC, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Trek to Yomi, Elden Ring, Pac-Man Museum Plus, The Quarry, WWE 2K22, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and Sonic Origins, and the Capcom Fighting Collection. Those are the new games that have come out so far this year. So out of all those that I just mentioned, right, how many games would you guys consider them great games that would be like game of the year contenders? I would argue Sifu is probably the most original game of the year, so that's a good one. Elden Ring obviously is up there. Kirby, one of the best Kirby games, if not the best Kirby game I've ever played. And you know, for what it is, a game like TMNT Shredder's Revenge is great, but would you consider that game of the year contender when it's a 2-hour game? I don't know. It's still a great game. So, I mean, that's pretty much it so far, right? That's really it. Now, I know there's going to be more coming out. So maybe we'll get some cool original games over the summer. But right now, it's been, you know, it was a busy time, but it's crazy because there were like 5-6 games that released in a 2-month period, and like 2 of them were good, you see? For me, definitely the biggest disappointment so far this year is Dying Light 2. That was a game that took forever to make, had tons of potential, and they literally made Dying Light 1 again with a few tweaks that doesn't even make it fun or original. I actually feel Dying Light 1 was better than Dying Light 2. So, wow, you want to talk about a flop of a game that no one talked about within like a week? It's pretty bad. Little Crow did another super chat to Destroy All Humans 2 remake playthrough. When is that coming out? It's coming out in the summer, right? I don't know if I put it down on my calendar or not. Oh yes, August 30th. Yes, I'll probably be playing it. I don't see why I wouldn't. Garrett says, "Do you think Street Fighter 6 flops? Would that be the end of Street Fighter games, and or for at least for a while? Did I ever play Bloody Roar? If it flops, it's pretty sad. I think it would be the end of Street Fighter being prominent. Because remember, at one point Street Fighter was the quintessential, not quintessential, that's the wrong word, the essential. I always add quinta instead of essential. It was the essential fighting game. It was the paragon of fighting games. When you said fighting games, the first thing you thought of was Street Fighter. But since Street Fighter 5, that's changed, right? When you think fighting games, what do you think of right now? Do you think Street Fighter 5 right away? No, you probably think of a million games all at once. That's not what it used to be, all right? Street Fighter 6 needs to be so good that when you think fighting games, oh, Street Fighter 6, man, that's where it's at. They have to get back to that point. If Street Fighter 6 doesn't hit that level, I don't think Street Fighter will ever be there ever again. And that's sad. They were there the entire 90s. They were the ones who created the whole genre of competitive fighting games. And to see them just go away because of botched game after botched game would be very sad. Especially for a fan like me, you know? Mr. Puffy Nipples says, hold on. Mr. Puffy Nipples to the $1.50 and said, you say that the worst is Dying Light 2, but you didn't even beat it. I didn't have to. I played 15 hours of the game to get to the point of the game where you can actually move around the city. 15 hours of wasted time to get to the point of the game where you're actually in the main city and you can do like hovering and stuff. It's one of the most boring, grindy, repetitive games. It's just shit. And by the way, it's full of bugs. At launch, it had all those bugs, remember? All those years of time put into that game just to be forgotten within a week. Because that's exactly what happened. A week after, it was Horizon, then it was Elden Ring. It's funny because that month of February was crazy, right? You had Sifu, Dying Light 2, Horizon, Elden Ring. And when each game came out, you forgot about the one before it. Sifu was out, but then when Dying Light 2 came out, everyone talked about that. Then when Horizon came out, everyone talked about that. And then when Elden Ring came out, it trumped everything. However, here's what I will say. Take a look at what happened when Elden Ring finally got old and people beat it. People went back and started talking about Horizon again. I started seeing people post up about Horizon on social media saying, wow, the hidden gem, the game was really good, and people didn't talk about it because Elden Ring trumped it, right? No one did that with Dying Light 2. Once the discussion moved from Dying Light 2 to other games, no one ever brought the game up ever again. It's like the game never existed. No one cares or remembers it. That's what I mean. It's like a fart in the wind. It's like, oh, it was here for a second. Oh, it's kind of stinky. Oh, it's gone. Oh, well. Never talk about that ever again. Okay. All right, guys, we've gone way too long on this pre-stream. All right, let's end the pre-stream. I gotta take a quick break, just use the restroom. All right, and then we're gonna pick up with Sonic Origins here. Okay, let's end. I know you guys want to talk all day, but I want to get started with gameplay. All right. Plus my voice, you can hear I'm losing my voice again. I've been trying to get my voice back for like 2 weeks, and every time that it starts to come back, then I talk too long, and then I lose it again. Okay, let's take a break. I'll be back shortly. Sonic Origins. All right.